Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed Couch Chat.
And hopefully it was something different and enjoyable in contrast to what our normal Bible study looks like. Kind of like the deep dive that we're gonna do today.
Although this one is filled with so much love. You know me, Nicholas Sparks gang all day long.
Ah yes, my friend Jaren, ever the romantic. Well, I'm excited for today because girl power.
Before we get into it, Unfiltered is a biblical scripted content series that Melissa and I create using scripted content for young adults.
And if you didn't know that already, where have you been? Also, you should totally check out our videos that we have out. We did like this whole collection on David that if you haven't checked it out already, you should definitely check it out on our YouTube page. Oh, and most recently, we just did a video on friendship.
With that, let's get into it. Ruth has a whole book, and like most stories in the Bible, it begins with a deep tragedy.
Yep, the Bible starts us off right in tragedy with a huge famine hitting Israel, and a patriarch in the family, Elimelech, dying.
Right, so picking up in Ruth 1, we meet two main characters and one character whose name sounds like Oprah adjacent. So the family mother, Naomi, has just lost her husband, the patriarch of the family.
And their two sons, Mahlon and Kilian, both grew up and married Moabite women. But unfortunately, they passed away too.
Now, we've talked about women's status in the Bible before, but as a widower, it's even worse. You have no household, so Naomi told her daughters to stay where they were in Moab because she was headed back home.
So as a widower, you had no one really to take care of you. Really, you were seen as more of a burden on society and more of a cargo than anything. And there were laws set in place so that way people wouldn't go hungry or starve or end up on the streets or something. Because trust me, this would happen a lot more than you would think. Just keep all of those laws in mind because it does come in handy later on in the story. Anyway.
This is when we see our main characters, Ruth, character really show. We also meet Orpah, but she leaves. But hey Orpah.
Hey girl, hey!
Let's take care of this quickly. I'm going to attempt to do a Melissa fast jump cut. Let's go! So basically Naomi tells the women to go home. Because being a woman without a man is awful, especially in a foreign, dangerous land. Orpah's like, peace. Ruth says she'll stay. Naomi says, no. Ruth says she'll stay. Naomi says, no. Ruth says she'll stay. And finally, Naomi agrees. Winded. Wow, Melissa, that's harder than it looks.
No one said it was easy. Yeah. Ruth is the real one. Orpah be dipping out of here when things get tough. But I mean, I totally get where Naomi was coming from. Things were really rough in Israel for foreigners in general, but for foreign widowers, that's rough. And plus, Naomi didn't really have a reason to stay in Moab. All of her closest of kin are dead. She really has nothing left and nowhere left to go. But if the fields in Israel were letting people pick barley or other things, then girls gotta eat.
This is where Ruth says something truly remarkable. She says, where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Your people will become my people, and your God will become my God.
Mercy. Listen, with Esther and Ruth, those two women, yes, they both have truly iconic quotes that they both said that give us a glimpse into who they really were. And for me, it shows me that Ruth was loyal, independent, a boss of a woman. Yes, I low-key have a girl crush.
I mean, you said low-key, but we all know it's not low-key.
I mean, don't worry about it.
So they get to Naomi's home right before the barley harvest, which is when they pick barley. Shout out to Context Clues. And shout out to Miss Johnson, my 5th grade teacher, who taught me that.
Yes, and lucky for them that this dude named Boaz owned a field and he was actually a relative of Naomi's. So Ruth decided to go and pick from Boaz's field. Because in Israel, they had a system set up for people who needed food for them to go in and glean or really pick up the leftovers or the scraps behind the normal barley pickers from the owners of the field. So that way people wouldn't go hungry.
So Ruth picks up this food and goes back home. She goes to Naomi and tells her about a day and tells her that she met Boaz. And Naomi is like mourning because she just lost her husband and her sons. So when Naomi tells her she meets Boaz, she kind of loses it.
Okay, well, for the record, she loses it because Boaz decided to be like, don't glean anywhere else. You're only going to be on my field. I'll take care of you. I already told everyone else not to mess with you. You're safe here. He even told his men to undo some sheaves that were good barley and leave them there for Ruth to pick up. Talk about special privileges, man.
Boaz was the family redeemer. Melissa, because I don't want to do it, and you haven't done your fun jump cut thing yet, would you care to explain?
Wow. Love being put on blast like that. Here goes. So, redeemers. Because apparently women were incapable of taking care of themselves back then, which I did not say, but the men of that time decided, and that's who set up the society back then. So I blame the society and more of the system and how it was set up versus women themselves. But anyway, because men were the pillars of the society, when someone like a husband died, there had to be another man to take care of them. Because again, women apparently couldn't take care of themselves. And usually how this would happen, how the men would take care of them, would be through marriage. So, get married, take care of the defenseless woman, now you have a new burden, done. Family redeemer.
Truly, no one does it like you, friend.
That sounded like a cop-out.
You have no proof, friend. Anyway, Naomi tells Ruth that she has to make her intentions super clear. No, Naomi has just lost her husband and her sons, and she basically tells Ruth, forget my sons. She tells her to go bathe herself. I'm talking Mulan level scrubbing here. And then go to sleep at a man's feet. Naomi says he'll know exactly what that means. I want to take this moment to say that unfiltered.jm does not condone sleeping at a man's feet unknowingly.
I don't want to hear about anyone who follows Unfiltered breaking into people's homes, showering at their place, waking up at their feet to essentially do a courting style of sliding into someone's DMs. No.
Wait, Melissa, didn't you say, she kind of proposed to him?
Yeah, man. These two women, Ruth and Naomi, they were spunky. Naomi pretty much told Ruth to propose to Boaz. Because remember, in order for him to be the family redeemer, he had to marry her. Look at her. You go, girl.
Listen, women, it's okay to propose. That's what I got from this.
Yeah, friend? That's your spiritual takeaway?
No, we're getting there. Basically, things don't come easy for our heroes at this point. And don't get me wrong, Ruth is a hero. She may not be cutting men's cloth when they're peeing, but make no mistake, she is remarkable.
I mean, listen, she had absolutely no power or position in that society. And she put all of those feelings and experiences and not only preached loyalty to Naomi, but she also practiced it. That takes so much bravery, and I'm in awe of her. To just drop everything and pledge such profound loyalty. And all coming from this woman who could have very easily been like Orpah and just left and gone to her family.
It's wild. Basically, when you are a family redeemer, you have the option, or you are required, to take whatever land that woman owns, her family land, you own it. So Boaz would become the owner of this land. And because Boaz wasn't the actual redeemer, and men can still be trash in Bible days, the plot kind of thickens.
The plot thickens. Yes, there was some other guy who was actually a closer relative than Boaz was. And they had to settle it out in the city council before things were finalized?
I guess finalize is a good word. So the relative who was eligible for the land before Boaz found out he had to marry Ruth. And he was like, I don't want it. This is why we don't date people who are not into us. You, right there, I see you. Yes, you. Yeah, you with, your phone about to text your ex. Why don't you not do it? Don't do it. Nope, not your time. Don't do it. We don't condone it. Stop it. They don't want you.
Put down the phone. We don't need that negative ex energy in our life. Put it down. Seriously, you deserve better, kings and queens. Don't settle for men and women who want your land and not you. Don't do that. No, we do not subscribe to that.
So yeah, they get married and have a kid and live happily ever after.
Honestly, me being the nerd that I am, I love how the story ends. Because it's just so awesome how the Bible all ties in together.
Oh right, I forgot. Their son is David's grandfather.
Yes, friend, the very end. It shows us that Ruth and Boaz had this baby boy named Obed. Obed just so happened to be the dad of Jesse. Jesse was David's dad, and eventually Jesus came from that same family line.
This story is really about the faith of Ruth. She saw something in Naomi and decided to trust it. She wasn't prepared. She didn't go to Christian school, or she wasn't ready. She wasn't this amazing Christian. She just had faith. And faith in Naomi. And boy, did she win the lottery.
Ruth's faith in Boaz to do the right thing, in Naomi to be leading her down the right path and to have her best interests at heart, and faith in God to do right by her. Because like you said, friend, this was all new to her. When she moved, not only did she take up a whole new citizenship, but she also took up a whole new religion and faith.
Research, we found that God's name is not mentioned by the narrator once in this book. It shows us that God is in our everyday task. We see him in the motions behind the scenes, and it reminds us that God is even in the mundane.
Truth. God is always active. Even when we don't see him, or when we don't see him in the ways that we want to see him, he is always active.
But seriously, Ruth won. She proposed to a man one day after meeting him. The skill. Us uncultured swines are out here swiping on apps. We need more Ruth energy.
We need more Boaz energy so us queens can step up our Ruth energy. Don't get me started on that one.
For another video. Friend, I think we're actually done, and quicker than usual.
Yeah, we don't have all the drama that our homeboy David did. I don't know anyone who had that much repeated drama throughout his whole life. At least not on that level.
I mean, we know people.
Guys, don't forget to click, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Also, much appreciated if y'all tell your peeps about Unfiltered.
See y'all next week.